everyone, this is Samantha with a Wealthy Hairstylist YouTube channel, and today I'm going to go over a booth rental or salon station rental agreement, contract that you may have with fellow stylists in your salon. So whether you own a salon and you rent out a station, or you own a studio suite and you rent out a station to another stylist, I would highly recommend that you at least have a contract or words of agreement between you and the fellow stylist, so that way everyone is on the same page. So with my contract, I really try to make things simple and clear, so that way not only do I understand it, but the future stylist working for my salon understands it as well. Granted, I'm not a lawyer, so I would definitely recommend that you at least have someone professionally look at your contracts and make sure everything makes sense, especially with the laws of the state that you live in. So let's get started. I'm just going to kind of cruise through my contract and just list off things that I think and recommend that you should have within your rental agreement for your stylist. So first things first is stating who the lease agreement is made between, the leasee and the leaseor. So I would write the name and date of yourself, the owner of the salon, or your company's business name, and the date of when the contract is being signed, and obviously the leaseor's full name and their home address. I would also state the location and the address of your salon or suite. So have that at the very top, so it's very clear who the contract is between, the date it was signed, and the location of the lease agreement of where the station is. Next thing is terms of agreement. So you as an owner, you need to figure out how your stylists are going to pay you. Is the rent weekly? Is it monthly? So I would clarify within your rental agreement the terms of your lease agreement. So I do a week-to-week rental. So a lot of my stylists, they will pay on Saturday, but in the memo, the dates are for the future working week. So all my stylists are prepaying to work in the salon. They don't pay for the work that they just did the week prior. They prepay for the week that they are going to work, if that makes any sense. So definitely list the terms of your agreement. And then I have on here fixed rent. So under your rental agreement, you need to decide what that rate is for the rent of the stylist working in your salon. And I would write that amount down, and is that due per week or per month? So that needs to be very clear what the weekly rental is. And I would also clarify if they are renting part-time, full-time, and how many days that is. Another thing to go over in your contract is late rent. And what is your policy? Do you charge a late fee? Are you pretty flexible? Do you not have a rental policy? I feel it's always good to establish some type of policy for rent, especially late rent. You as the owner or salon suite owner, you have bills to pay. So you plan on having that income coming into your future week, especially when bills are due and your overhead payment is due. So I put a 7-day late policy on my booth rental agreement, and I actually charge a 10% late fee, so based on how many days they work. So I have flat rates for part-time and full-time, and that 10% is charged based off of what their weekly rental fee is, if that makes any sense. Another thing I would add in your contract is rental increases. Do you have scheduled rental increases? Do you kind of just randomly charge rent? I think from experience, having a consistent rental increase that is very clear for the stylist who's coming into your salon to understand the process and how things work. The last thing you want is a stylist coming into your salon and you're charging one rental price and then next year it goes up by 30%. I don't feel that's fair for the stylist, especially to be blindsided like that. So I think it's very nice and very clear to not only the owner, but the future stylist, if they know ahead of time when the rental increase is happening and what it is. So whether that's a dollar amount or a percentage amount, that is determined by you. But I would have that written and very clear within your documentation. Another thing I have on here is use of premises. So I would also clarify what it is they're renting the station for. I know as a salon owner, you think, oh, well, they're cutting hair in the salon. So that's what we do. But you definitely need to clarify within your contract that that's what they are there to do, to either color and cut and blow dry style or straightening treatments, whatever it is that your salon is insured for and what your salon specializes in. The last thing you want to do is hire a stylist to rent a booth to do hair, and then you walk in and then they're microblading somebody in your chair, and your salon maybe is not insured for that. So I would clarify, even though as brainless and simple as you think it might be, you're like, well, what else would they do? Just clarify it. Save yourself the hassle and just clarify exactly what they're using the station for. Another line item I have is payment of rental. So I would also clarify who they're making their payments to, their weekly rental payments to. Is it you personally? Is it your company name? So I have on here, for me, the lessor, so they're paying my company's name. And again, I state the business address. So it's very clear where the money's going to and who it's being paid to. Another line item I have here is equipment and personal property. So within this line item, I listed what the lessor, which is me, the owner, what I am providing to the lessee, the stylist renting in my salon. So I'm providing a booth, I'm providing a chair, tables, locker, shampoo bowl, towels, booking system. So whatever it is that you are offering to your stylist, have it all written there. The last thing you need is a stylist to come work for you, and then if they decide to leave, they take your salon chair with you. So you never know, things happen. So you need to be very clear about what you are offering future stylists coming into your salon. Another line item I have here is leasing to maintain premises. Another kind of no-brainer. You think, well, obviously I provide a nice clean environment, so why would they not take care of it? You just never know. So it's always good to be clear on the protocols for your salon. If you like stations to be cleaned a certain way, if you want all the cords put away at the end of the day, if you want trays placed a certain spot in your salon when everything's done for the end of the day, damage to the station. So another thing I would clarify is obviously as the salon owner or booth owner, if things happen with the station, electrical, cabinet, whatnot, you are liable to fix that. That's what your stylist is paying for. If a light goes out, you need to fix that for your stylist. However, if you have a stylist who, I don't know, let's say they get pissed and they throw their blow dryer at the mirror of their station and it shatters, that is something that they are liable for and that they would have to replace. So I would make very clear within your contract these terms. Let's see. Oh, utilities. So I also just list what I provide as a lessor. So AC, heat, electricity, water, phone services. Like, the stylist could use the phones to call out to confirm for their clients, internet, things like that. And then I have another line item on here for taxes, just explaining that the leasee, the renter of the salon, is not an employee. All the renters are subcontractors within my salon. So it's just clarifying that within your contract. Another thing I would add is default by leasee. It's the last thing I know as a stylist and an owner, something that you have to deal with, but sometimes things happen and people go MIA and they disappear, so it's always good to have clarification. If you have a future renter coming in and they don't pay their rent for more than 2 weeks, or they no-show, you can't get in contact with them, you want to have the right to be able to take over that station and rent it to somebody else. So I would add the terms of agreement within your contract about that if your stylist defaults on their lease. Ooh, this is another good one, subletting. So I know there are some salons who do this. I personally do not. So I definitely clarify to the stylist in my salon, when you are renting a station, this is your station. So if you are full-time, you keep your station. The whole station is yours if you were paying for full-time. If you are part-time, most likely I will share 2 stylists to 1 station, and obviously they will figure out, the days that they work so there's no conflict of interest, and then they split the station equally. If you are a stylist who likes to take vacations and travel, I still require my stylist to pay rent even if they decide they don't want to work. So I would definitely recommend putting a subletting terms of agreement in there, because you do not want a stylist who thinks that they can leave and, go on vacation for 6 months and they could sublet their station to someone who never interviewed with your salon, who doesn't specialize in the services that your salon offers, things like that. So I would definitely clarify the subletting situation, whether that is okay or not okay, and if it is, the terms of agreement and how that process is done. Let's see. Governing law. So agreement shall be governed by, construed and enforced in accordance to the laws of the state of blank. So you definitely want to make sure all the terms of agreement in your contract are in accordance with the state that you live in. So definitely do some research and make sure that your contract is on the same page with the state laws that you live in. Another thing I have is I have a thing listed as entire agreement and modification of agreement. So you want clarification on both parties, the person who created the contract and the person signing the contract, that they are agreeing to the contract entirely as a whole, and that no party on either end is going to edit or modify the contract. So everything that's written is as is, and nothing could be altered, because the last thing is you want to have a stylist sign a contract and they change things that you are unaware of. So signing to agreements on both parties. So these are like the biggest key factors that I have listed in my agreement that has helped me and all my future stylists who work in my salon. And then I have the future stylist sign again and witnesses of the signature. So I have the leasee sign and print their name, the leaseor sign and print their name. And then if there is a witness involved of the whole process of the agreement, then I'll have the witness sign as well. And then everything is dated. So that way there's a timestamp for everything. And then also too, you could give a copy of your lease agreement to your renters. That way there's nothing hidden and everyone's on the same page. I think it's a great business tactic to do. And that way it's fair for both parties. The last thing you want to do is go into a rental agreement with a stylist who is unsure or has to question your terms of agreement. So try to make things very clear, very simple. And like I said before, get a second opinion if you're unsure about your contract or how things are laid out, if it's done properly in accordance to the state laws. Just pay the extra money and get that checked out. But I think it's definitely worth having some type of agreement. And this is a booth rental agreement. So I even have agreements with my salon manager and assistants who come into my salon, and even independent contractors who are part of my bridal beauty business as well. So there should always be contracts with your business, just to be on the safe side. So I hope you like this video. Click like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much. Bye.